What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Here to bring you another BS or legit video. This time it's on Geno Smith and the possibility he is moved on from by the Seahawks this offseason. Let's get into it, guys. So before we get started, though, let me know in the comment section down below. Is this idea of mine BS? Is there like almost no chance Geno get moved on from? Or do you see it's a legit idea? It is possible. Let me know in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, guys, let me tell you how I got to this point. So first, this video started off as something else. I was going through my comments on all my social medias trying to find a good NFL mailbag question someone asked me. So I found something interesting, and the question itself wasn't interesting, but what I took from the question kind of got me thinking, right? And came to this question. I'm asking you guys here. So first, it was a question by a supporter of mine saying, "Hey, I know you said in the past you want Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson. I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, by the way, if you didn't know. I put a whole video out after Arthur Smith was let go saying who I want as coach, free agents, the draft ideas, all that good stuff. But basically, I said I don't want a rookie quarterback, right? I want a veteran. I said I want Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, maybe Justin Fields, but I'm not really sold on him, whatever. So the person asked me, would I want Geno Smith? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, reading the question, obviously, yeah. I think Geno is smack dab in the middle between Kirk and Russell. He's better than Russell, but not good as Kirk, in my opinion. So, yeah, I would want Geno, no question. But the question I pulled was, is Geno on a trade block this offseason? Now, I think there is a possibility he definitely is, and let me tell you why. So, first off, we already know when a new regime comes through, a new head coach, all that stuff, they're going to want their guy at the quarterback, someone they're tied to, someone with not a lot of cap space at that quarterback spot. And I think this year is a prime year for that. The Seahawks this year picked 16. Well, before I even get to the pick, go to this past season, right? The 2023 season. The Seahawks, to me, had a very disappointing season. Like I said before, I'm a Falcons fan, but I'm unbiased, right? So my prediction prior to the season starting, excuse me, my prediction for the Super Bowl was the Browns versus Seahawks, right? So it sounds crazy now, it sounds wonky now, but back then I laid out a full plan. Excuse me, my throat is killing me. But I laid out a full plan prior to the season starting, saying, hey, this is why I believe the Browns and Seahawks, or at least one of them, could get to Super Bowl. Now, it didn't work out, but that's how highly I thought of the Seahawks and their entire roster. But the main thing I said for the Seahawks was Geno has to play as good as he did in the first half of the 2022 season, which he did not. He kind of brought his later half of this 2022 season with him to this past season in 2023. So it's like, okay, Geno got a new deal last year. He wasn't terrible this year, but he wasn't great. And that's the problem that kind of messed up. That plus the defense being bad for the Seahawks, that kind of ruined the whole Seahawks season this season. There was no playoffs. There was no late season push. Excuse me. So now Pete Carroll's gone. Maybe they hire Dan Quinn. That's my prediction. Maybe they go someone else. But looking like their OC. I forgot his name as of right now, but their OC, who I think could be a head coach in this league, and also could be a good fit for the Seahawks, obviously staying in the same system, all that stuff. I don't think he's getting the job. I really don't think so. So I think they're gonna move on. They're gonna get a new OC and or a new head coach, and then also a new D coordinator. So whoever it be will probably want their own guy at quarterback. You have pick 16. Now the question is, will a quarterback be available at pick 16? For me personally, I'm not too big on Penix. I'm not too big on McCarthy, but I'm not an NFL scout. I don't know how these teams view these guys, but I will admit, though, it is interesting, how teams view McCarthy because there's a lot of hype around him. Good skill set, good arm, game manager to the T, but he does that well. He knows his role, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I just haven't seen enough from him to pick him in the first round for myself. But some teams might might have him rated in that range. Then you have Bo Nix. Could Bo Nix be an opportunity for the Seahawks at pick 16? And you have Penix. So those three guys are the main guys to me that also fit what the Seahawks have going on. Because honestly, if you look at the Seahawks roster, and they have a lot of free agents this offseason, a lot of big name guys, especially on defense, Jordan Brooks, Bobby Wagner. But looking at their overall team for the Seahawks, they're kind of built for a young quarterback. They're a younger team. They have three good wide receivers in Smith and Jigba, Tyler Lockett, and they have DK Metcalf. They have two good running backs, in my opinion, Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. I'm very big on Charbonnet. I thought he was one of my favorite running backs in last year's draft, especially considered being a power back. I didn't think he would go to Seattle, but it does make sense now. They're going to have a good strong run game. And you have a decent defense, that has some issues last year that could be fixed. But to start off, you have two young good corners in Witherspoon and Wooden, and you have two good safeties, also three, but we'll see what to do with Jamal Adams. But you have Quandre Diggs and Julian Love. So it's like, okay, you have a pretty good team around them if you do go a young quarterback. And you can also have good draft picks. You trade Geno. Geno will at least bring you back a second, third round pick. Probably a third plus. And like just take my Falcons for example. If we trade for Geno Smith, right, it would make sense there because we get a free pick from the Calvin Ridley trade. It just depends on whether it be a second or third round pick. I believe if the Jaguars re-sign Ridley, who's a free agent, if they re-sign him, then we get a second round pick. If they don't let him walk, then we get a third round pick. So that pick can go straight to the Seahawks, and we can get Geno straight up, and then we probably would restructure Geno's contract because his contract isn't bad. He has 2 years left on his deal, but it's a little high. So I think whatever team, if they do trade for Geno Smith, if he is actually moved, I think that his contract will be probably a little tweaked, a little less hit on the cap, maybe more money up front. We'll see, but I definitely think a restructure is in Geno Smith's future. But as far as teams that could want Geno, I think there's a lot. At least 5 to 6 teams that could want Geno. Excuse me. He's upgrading a couple spots. You have the Steelers. What would they do with Kenny Pickett? Is he the guy? Will they bring in Geno to battle out with him? And obviously, I think Geno's a better quarterback, so Geno will win that battle. Mason Rudolph is an option there to bring him back to battle with Kenny Pickett. That's more the likely option, but we'll see there. The New England Patriots, if they go with Marvin Harrison at pick 3, they have no quarterback. That means they will most likely go veteran. Will they trade for Geno Smith sometime during the offseason? That's possible. My Falcons, as I said before, I don't want to go young at pick 8, or at least young quarterback. I want to bring in someone that's a veteran. Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, Geno will be fine as well, in my opinion. Trade him for that Calvin Ridley pick. Wherever we get for Calvin Ridley, give it right to the Seahawks. Bring us Geno for a couple years. I wouldn't be mad at that. I really wouldn't. And then probably go quarterback probably next season in the 2025 draft. The Titans, the Vikings, as I said before, when you have a new regime coming, you never know what happens. And the Titans didn't spend too much draft assets on, or at least they didn't really go all in on Will Levis. He's not a first round pick. There's a chance they could go on and move on from him with a new head coach. He's not. If they deem he's not the guy, then he's not the guy. So we'll see there. The Vikings are very interesting as well. I highly doubt Justin Jefferson wants to go young at quarterback, or maybe just he wants someone who's good already. He don't want to start over brand new as of right now. Maybe not. I could be wrong, but you look at the Vikings; they're a pretty good team. They're a pretty tough team. They had some good moments this season. If Kirk Cousins doesn't return, he goes somewhere else. and then you have an opening at quarterback, you're not in a good spot to, or you don't want to get a rookie. I think Geno would make sense as well. Second, third round pick, third plus a fifth or a sixth or a player or something, a small, not small, but a not so active player, special team guy, something that'll make sense as well. So I think those handful of teams, plus maybe more too, I'm missing out on. I can't think of everything right now, but I think there's a pretty good chance that the Seahawks actually do move on from Geno. Now, will it happen? I don't know. No, obviously I don't know. I'm not predicting it, but I think there is a good chance, and I think it's very on the table that the Seahawks move on from Geno and they bring in a McCarthy, they bring in a Bo Nix, they bring in a Penix at pick 16, and I think they could. And I think any three of those guys could be starters from day one. Now, I'm not a fan of those guys. I will, like I said before, but especially Nix, especially Penix, I think those guys have so much experience that they could be shoe-in starters with no problem. Now, would they be good? That's the question. But will you question them being a starter? I don't think so, because they played at a high level for a long time. Penix, his offensive scheme kind of concerns me. As far as translating over to the NFL, would he kind of struggle? But Bo Nix to me is something that's very interesting. He could be starting from right away. He's mobile. He's throws on the run pretty well. Got a decent arm on him. Nix will probably, out of those three guys, McCarthy, Penix, and Nix, I think Nix will probably be the most solid day one starter. Played him over pro style offense. I think the adjustment, the change won't be too big for him, but you do have Penix who has a big arm that can make any throw. So, there's something there as well, but not as mobile as Penix or not Penix, not as mobile as Nix or McCarthy. So I could see any three of those guys going there to the Seahawks at pick 16. Now, and I think if Geno was on the roster at that point still, I think he'll be moved on after that draft. I really do. I think he doesn't play for the Seahawks during the season. I think if he's still on the roster by the time the draft day comes and they go round one, pick 16, or round one in general, they go quarterback, the Seahawks, I think Geno is moved on from shortly after that. So that's it for the video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.